here, but I wanted to ask you more about the role traveling plays in your healing.
Mhm. Yeah. Travel for me has sparked parts of myself that I didn't know were there. Um,
Mm.
like, for instance, growing up, product of public school systems in the United States, I hated history. Hated history.
Mm.
I couldn't keep my attention. I hated the rote learning of dates and these, events that now, as I look back, are very much from a Western American centered perspective. But as I travel, I'm so in love with history. Like, I love just being in places and hearing about things and events that I had no idea about. Again, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, learning about Black history in other places and seeing Black folks around the world. Um, and I think also seeing different ways of life has really contributed to my own personal healing path. To see different
Mm.
lifestyles, different, like for instance, being in Mexico City, largest city in North America, very much, a spectrum. You have the luxury, you have like the business, like many major cities, but there's still this thread of community and balance that I never experienced when I was living in the United States. That I love. Like, Sundays in Mexico City are probably the number one thing that made me want to move here, because it's such a family oriented time. It's such a community day. Everyone's
Mm.
riding bikes. They close some of the streets down. There's families out on rollerblades, little kids on there, little tricycles. People are walking in parks. People are making dinner at their family's house. And if it's just, it offered me a different way to be in relationship with work. It offered me a different way to be in relationship with um, passions and free time, and to release some guilt around some of those things, and to reimagine what my life could be, you know. So really looking at my relationship with capitalism and being an entrepreneur, right? Like, my
Mhm.
first week in entrepreneurship, I probably worked like 60 hours.
Oh, it's easy. It's easier. It's easy to overwork when you're an entrepreneur because it
Yes,
takes so much to like get a new thing going
I
that
saw,
you can
yes.
totally justify working yourself into the ground.
I had no idea. I saw a meme the other day that was like, "Oh, I really want to leave this 9 to 5," and then switch to, like, a couple months later, they're like, "Now I work 24 hours a day."
Right?
And it's so true,
Yeah, and if you don't manage that part of it, oh my god, it's so
Yeah.
not worth it, you know? If you have like, which you do, an education, a way to make a decent living as an employee, it
Mhm.
doesn't make sense if you can't manage that um, self-care part and
Mhm.
the constant recalibration about how much work is
Mhm.
okay, you know?
Yeah. What is qualified as work? That's been a big thing for me. What
Mhm.
when is my workday over? So I'm still definitely unpacking and deconstructing what some of those messages that I have lived with for the last 37 years. But that has really shifted for me a lot. Travel has really brought that to me, to be able to really think about what is a life that suits me. How could I, like, seeing that it's possible,
Mhm.
and really structuring something for myself that feels aligned, and not only for me, but also thinking about other lineages in my family, in in my community, and the conversations have changed among my family. My mom came visit me in Mexico, which is huge, you know, like people being able to experience other ways of life. And
Mhm.
yeah, even down to eating better. I can walk down the street in the morning and there's fresh juices and fruit for sale and within 2 block radius, you know, and that's just not been my experience historically. So
Mm.
that's really been key to my healing. I feel like I have found freedom in that.
Ah, nice.
Yeah,
Freedom.
freedom,
I
freedom.
think I think freedom is my highest value. I
Mm,
really I've always I before this moment, I've always said that, love was my highest value, and love is my work. That's my work. It always will be.
yeah.
But I feel like freedom is really my highest value. I have been striving to have more freedom since the moment I came
Mm.
back into physical form, you know,
Mhm. Yes. I
which
love
used to drive my mom crazy, poor thing.
that resonance.
I have so much compassion for her now. Having been a mom and being a grandma now, I get it why I scared the heck out of her, but it just was
Mm.
always a drive for me. I needed freedom.
Mhm. I
And
love that.
yeah, over the years, that definition just has kept expanding. Like, what is freedom? You
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
And when I was younger, I think physical freedom was enough. And then I needed emotional freedom. And then,
Mhm.
it just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that. I feel like I want to sit with that even a little bit more and thinking about the intersection of love, like the ways love is inherently a part of freedom that we're able to experience, how that really liberates our ability
Mhm.
to, and the ways in which we love.
Yes.
Yeah, that's powerful.